season that Wichita State won back in January. Starting lineups are presented by Wichita's own Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Greg Marshall giving his starting five and the rest some last-minute instructions. 8 straight wins over Southern Illinois for Greg Marshall, all by double digits. And as Rob and I talked about, Connor Frankamp and Shaquille Morris, two of the big reasons why Wichita State is playing at such a high level, especially offensively. And Landry Shamet, the only one in the starting lineup every game this season. Barry Henson in his Pizza Hut starting lineup. There you see Barry, one of the deans of the Missouri Valley Conference. You see his record. This is his second stint in the league after previously being at then Southwest Missouri State. And among his starters, Sean O'Brien. This is his 117th start of his Saluki career. This will be the 9th time that number 33 has laced him up and played against Wichita State. Glad to have you in this early tip here at SIU Arena. And there you see Shaquille Morris. We highlighted him in the open. He had a nice game against Southern Illinois back in Wichita in the 87-45 Shocker win. He went for 10 and 6 rebounds in only 18 minutes of work. The Shockers, as usual, win the opening tap. And we're underway. Glad you could join us here for Missouri Valley Conference basketball. And immediately Morris gets a touch and walk. Good job by Teak Bowl to wall him up.
Yeah, tough one there. Right when he caught it, they brought the big double, which may be a tactic they try and use and keep him from keeping that roll that he's been on lately. And we'll see how he handles that, and hopefully he can see it coming and pass out of it.
Marcus McDuffie with some active hands. It goes to the deck, and alternating possession will go immediately to the Saluki. So Wichita State with some pressure in backcourt, and Marcus McDuffie a little slow to get up, but Shocker fans will be happy that he finally made it to his feet. There was a scrum after he got that loose ball. So Sean O'Brien to trigger it in. One guy that we didn't talk about in the open that's been a little bit unheralded, Rob, is Zach Brown and his ability to play defense. He is an absolute glove on defense.
Yeah, he's great with the on-ball defense, but what a lot of people don't see is what he covers up off the ball. Help side, a guy gets beat, on a backdoor cut. He covers up a lot of things and makes things look better for the defense as a whole, and some of that stuff isn't seen.
Sean O'Brien had a double-figure output the last time these two teams got together, so Brown draws the assignment tonight. McDuffie from the short corner. Shockers take the early lead. Marcus McDuffie, 11 points and 6 rebounds in their most recent win over Loyola, and the Shockers take the early lead. Bowl, number 40, playing through some back issues. He's in the starting lineup again tonight. It was really quiet in Wichita as he got himself into early foul trouble. So did O'Brien, for that matter. Angle 3, no good. And Shaquille Morris with a rebound on the miss by Sean Lloyd.
Good pass out of the double team, just couldn't knock it down.
They're looking for Morris, as Rob Campman alluded to in the open. They continue to try to get him paint touches.
When you get a big guy some touches early on, too, a lot of times it'll get his rhythm, keep him interested in the game. And as McDuffie hits a 3, Shaq, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's going to put up some good numbers. So it's good to see them try and get him involved early.
So the Shockers with the first 4, they ruled that a very deep 2 by McDuffie. So he's got the first 4 of the game. Pick and slip for O'Brien. He's working on Brown. Goes with a left hand, and Bowl with the offensive rebound. Left it short on the putback and runs down another one. Much to Greg Marshall's ire. He is most displeased over in front of the Shocker bench that Teak Bowl got 2 offensive rebounds.
SIU's good on the offensive rebound, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I doubt Coach Marshall's too happy with that one.
Mike Rodriguez gets SIU on the board, and a steal as Sean Lloyd, the sophomore, sniffing around the basket, got the first turnover.
That was a good front by SIU down there, and Shaq couldn't get into the body, so he just overthrew it, and there's good help side.
Fletcher with a teardrop that wouldn't go down. The Shockers hang on to a 2-point lead. Morris with a quick move to the left hand over Teak Bowl. Teak Bowl is no joke down there. He's got 53 blocked shots, but Morris beat him to the punch.
That's one way to get past the double team, is making a quick move, whether it's a spin or just a left-handed jump hook like you did there. Don't let the double team get to you. That was a nice move.
Over half of Teak Bowl's baskets are dunks, so I'm sure they will take that every single time. Push him out to 16 feet and let him shoot.
Yeah, Coach Marshall talked about that. Jump shots over hands are going to be big tonight. If Wichita can keep SIU to doing that, they're going to have a good chance of winning. They like to get in the paint, and they're towards the top of the valley in points in the paint. Nice jumper there by Shaq, too.
So McDuffie with the first 4, Morris with the next 4, and the Shockers lead it by half dozen.
A lot of ball screens by SIU on the side so far. We're not hedging, we're not showing yet, and that's the game plan. But if they keep hitting shots and keep getting in the paint, I look to see that changed a little bit.
Rodriguez in a hurry back the other way, doesn't have numbers. The Shockers cover up the secondary break. Now Zach Brown has drawn the switch on Rodriguez. Now they switch back. Sean Lloyd misfires on the jumper, and the Shockers claim the defensive rebound. Shamet for 3, and it's good. Landry Shamet continues his three-point shooting streak. That's 17 consecutive games for the Shocker freshman with at least 1 triple.
You'll see this a lot. O'Brien he'll post up with his back to the basket, but he'll come all the way out to the three-point line, dribble back down just like that. Good with both hands, left or right. Sometimes he looks to get angles to the basket. Sometimes he can score over. So he's pretty good with that, and we'll see if the Shockers make an adjustment or they keep going to O'Brien.
SIU lost Saturday 75-70 to Evansville, but O'Brien was really efficient. 18 points and 13 rebounds in 38 minutes. And we got looks like a foul on Sean Lloyd as we head to our first media timeout. 11-6 Wichita State after 5 minutes at SIU. Are brought to you by the Kansas Lottery. Play Kansas Lottery and dream bigger. There's our 3 keys that, or a couple of keys that Rob Campman came up with before the game, and we saw it early, Rob, with the fact that Teak Bowl crashed the offensive glass for SIU. They're really good at that.
Yeah, that's pretty timely for the keys of the game. Defensive rebounding. Shockers lead the league in the rebounding margin. It's 8.5 per game in the positive, but SIU is the best offensive rebounding in the team, or in the league. So it's going to be a battle there. When SIU out-rebounds their opponents, they win. They're 7-2 in the league. When they're 6.7 rebounds behind when they lose the game. The second key to the game is be strong with the ball and be crisp. Their perimeter guys are very handsy. They're active. They make it hard, as you can see, pressuring Landry. They try and get hands in the passing lane. They try and make it hard for you to reverse and run, get you out of your rhythm and run your offense. And the third key kind of piggybacks on that. You got to limit the runouts. SIU is going to look for some easy baskets, try and get a few of those steals, and maybe get some points in the paint or dunks in the fast breaks. If we can limit that, that's going to be a lot harder. As we mentioned, the shots over a hand are what the Shockers are going for. Leo
Vincent in there for the first time for Southern Illinois. And yeah, when the Shockers get the chance to set up their half-court offense, they're as good as anybody in the country. They and Illinois State are just lethal at locking you down when you have to set up your offense. So any kind of runouts, like Rob said, will be certainly welcome for SIU. Loose ball underneath the basket, and this time the held ball will go the way of the Shockers. And almost right on cue there, Rob. Wichita State moving their feet. Good job by McDuffie to cut off Fletcher.
Great job. SIU's going to look for angles to the basket, try to get in, and have layups and easy buckets. But Marcus McDuffie did a great job moving his feet, keeping his hands up, making a tough shot to score over top of him rather than giving him an easy layup.
Rano Nerger in there for the first time for the Shockers. McDuffie around a Nerger screen for a triple straight away.
And that's another thing that seems to happen. A guy has a good defensive play and he comes down and hits a three-pointer. McDuffie's hit a couple long jumpers. The other one was a 2, but that's a nice three-pointer there.
Much improved deep perimeter shooter from a year ago, Marcus McDuffie. And a three-pointer by Leo Vincent rolls in. Vincent did not play against Wichita State in the early matchup in Wichita. He, alongside Sean Lloyd, Both were under some investigation for eligibility issues, which were very quickly dispelled, and they were eligible to be right back in there after the Wichita State game. So they're in there tonight, and immediately Leo Vincent making his presence felt, as is Teak Bull. That's his 54th block shot of the year.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, he's real long, has good timing, can block with either hand, and that was a great block there by Bull.
Junior college out of Iowa Western a year ago, he led the junior college, the entire nation, in blocks at nearly 5 a game. And it looked like he knocked it away from McDuffie, who nearly stole it in the backcourt. Jonathan Wiley runs it down, and Rodriguez will set up the offense for the Shockers, leading by 5.
As one of the keys of the game, taking care of the ball. SIU, 7.2 steals per game. There's one of them, very active hands.
Corner 3, Rainbow, wouldn't go down for Fletcher. Armand Fletcher, very good three-point shooter, was real quiet in their last game against Evansville. Only had 3 points. Nerger for 3. An angle 3 for Rano Nerger, who is now 12 of 25 from 3. Doesn't shoot them often, but when he does, he's been lethal from deep.
That middle ball screen gives a good opportunity for the guy to roll and a guy to come behind, and that's exactly what happened. You can either pick and pop, or you can roll and come behind, and that's what Rano did. His guy got caught helping, and he had a nice rhythm three-pointer.
Rashard Kelly, one of the Shocker reserves off the bench, gets the pick and roll, spins around Bull, left it short. Did everything but finish right there. Now a one-on-one. Rodriguez over Frankamp, who had a nice contest, and a good job by the Shockers to hustle down.
Yeah, good job not to foul there. That's one of the things that he'll do, is try and get into his body. Rodriguez likes to get that contact, similar to Van Vliet used to do last year, and that's what he tried to do. Connor stayed off, hands up, and didn't foul.
Rano Nerger going to the left hand, hooks it over Bull. He's got 5. Good Shocker balance to start with, and they're getting virtually anything they want offensively. And Bull challenged at the rim by Landry Shamet, and you certainly will welcome that. A hard foul with a big guy going in for a dunk, make him earn it. And on that previous trip down the floor, Rano Nerger showing off his footwork and the ability to go to the left hand.
He's great with his left hand. I'm sure it's on the scouting report. It's probably his favorite move, and he goes to it a lot, but he's got such good touch with that. At the other end, it was a good challenge by Landry, but Bull's long, and that was an aggressive move. Very nice.
Bull, a shade under 61% from the foul line, makes the first one. He had 4 really big makes in their win a week or so ago at Loyola to salt that one away in Chicago. Bull, 4 points, 3 rebounds in the earlier meeting against Wichita State, battling some back issues tonight, but gutting it out. Bull hit them both. And checking in will be Rudy Stradniks, in there for the first time. Stradniks, a native of Latvia, so Teak Bull will get a well-deserved rest as he goes over to the bench. And
you mentioned his back, and if it's tight, he doesn't show it so far. He's been real active, attacking the basket, had a couple blocks. So he's doing well so far. We'll see if it holds up.
Deshaun Smith running the Shocker offense this possession down. The Shockers leading by 8. Frankamp yet to attempt a shot, I believe. He's averaging 15 a game over his last 5. Smith had the 3, didn't want it. McDuffie will take it and hit. A deep 2. Boy, there's another basket for Marcus McDuffie that just had his toe on the line. Otherwise, he'd have 3 triples. As it is, 9 points already for Marcus. Stradnick's in trouble, nearly walked. Picked up his dribble, needs some help. Kelly guarding Sean O'Brien. Another offensive rebound. A careless pass, though, and it's going to go to Wichita State. You got to cash those in if you're Southern. You're at home. You're going to be the underdog anyway. And to turn it over is tragic for Barry Hinson. The Shockers take a 10-point lead into the break.
What are you doing?
And former Shocker stretch 4, Rob Campman, here courtside at SIU Arena. Shockers leading by 10. Rano Nerger with 5 points off the bench. And that shouldn't surprise anyone, because Wichita State all season long has been flirting with the 40 points per game off the bench mark. There you see they're 3rd in the country. And Rob, a dizzying stat from the matchup in Wichita. The Shocker bench scored 45 points. SIU's entire team had 45 points. I know the roof caved in Wichita and things got out of hand, but that's an ungodly amount of points from your bench.
Yeah, no doubt. Wichita State obviously is a great defensive team, so they're going to try and hold them in the 60s. But to get 40 points from your bench, you're not going to count on that, but it sure is a bonus. And Nerger coming off the bench and being that big guy to attack him again this game is, you can see where the trend is there.
SIU going with a zone. O'Brien got his mitts on one. Kelly's going to step into a jumper, leave it short. Nerger with the offensive rebound, drew some contact, no call, out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Shockers with a fresh 30, and another bench player coming in, Austin Reeves, in there for the first time. And good effort underneath, but Nerger just couldn't finish.
It's good to see him crash the boards against the zone. It's a lot harder to box out. Obviously, you got to find a man, and you're not matched up with him. Great opportunity to just crash the middle, and the ball found him.
Before that miss, Shockers started 9 of 12 from the floor. So we mentioned getting just about what they want offensively and being able to cash in most of it. If the Shocker reserves can probe this Saluki zone. McDuffie still in there. Jacks up a three, no good. Nerger couldn't grab it as Teak Bowles back in there. Deshaun Smith, a much shorter but much quicker player, trying to hound O'Brien. And now Kelly switches off and gets him, and here's a run out. One-on-one, McDuffie scoops it in. Marcus McDuffie with those huge strides, eating up real estate. He's in double figures. The Shockers lead by a dozen.
McDuffie gave SIU a little bit of their own medicine there, denying the pass, getting a hand on it, being real active with his hands. A good finish on the other end.
Barry Henson's probably seen about enough of Marcus McDuffie. Back in Wichita, McDuffie went for 20 and 9. A short corner jumper goes down for Jonathan Wiley. Wiley doesn't score much, only about 2.5 a game.
SIU not always that deep, but I imagine with Thick Bull, with his back being that way, they're going to probably rotate, especially the big guys, in a little bit more, as you see a couple of these guys getting minutes early in the game.
And steps by Rashard Kelly. And that'll give it back to Southern Illinois. Zach Brown, after a brief rest, will be back in there for the Shockers. And that turnover for Wichita State unofficially was 5. So a little pricey in the early going, probably for Greg Marshall's liking. Landry Shamet back in for the Shockers as well. O'Brien to trigger it in. Zach Brown waiting for him at midcourt. And actually, he's going to pick up Mike Rodriguez. How about that? He's going to have 8 inches on the Saluki point guard. See how that works out. Rodriguez got around him, and Nerger. Well, that was against Zach Brown. I thought maybe Nerger a little late getting there, but Brown reached in, picks up his first personal foul.
Good attack middle there by Rodriguez. I think Zach Brown got caught napping a little bit, wasn't down in his stance. Rodriguez is going to try and get there to score, normally going to his left. That was a great attack there by Rodriguez.
He has 5. He had 8 points in their loss Saturday against Evansville. Rodriguez only was 2 for 11 in the matchup in Wichita, but averaging nearly 13 a game, rattles them both in. He's nearly halfway to his average. Lead cut down to 8. Southern Illinois has never led. As a matter of fact, now they're working on over 90 minutes of play in their last 2.5 games without leading. It's been a long drought.
Little token full court pressure back into the zone, it looks like here. They've been switching up the defense as good, keeps the Shockers on their toes, having to switch up their offenses. Here's a run out.
SIU's got numbers now. Rodriguez forces Vincent to follow, and the Shockers can't secure a defensive rebound. Still can't. O'Brien finally cashes it in. Sean O'Brien with 4, and that is about as rare as Haley's Comet when you play Wichita State. For somebody to get that many offensive rebounds on one trip. Foul away from the ball as the Salukis crawl within 6. 1 try, 2 tries, and make it 3, 4 if you include the tip that didn't go in. So
it's good initial defense by Reeves. Everybody needs to sprint back. SIU definitely puts a focus on that, and they're living up to their offensive rebounding title in the NBC right now.
Also in for Wichita State, 33, Connor Frank.
So only a couple of team fouls on both, about 12 minutes in, so pretty cleanly played. Frankamp in for the Shockers. Bowl goes out for the Salukis, and Stradnick's back in. Brown cutting to the basket, can't finish. O'Brien with a rebound. Shockers are getting a fair amount of decent looks right at the rim. Rodriguez got Shamet flying, couldn't take advantage. And one opportunity for Sean Lloyd. So back come the Salukis, down a dozen. When we come back, they'll have a chance to cut it to 3. To go. Southern Illinois with an opportunity for a three-point play after Sean Lloyd's basket took us to a timeout. There you see Barry Henson in his second stint in the Missouri Valley Conference. Was at Missouri State from 99 to 08, and he's been here at SIU from 2012 till now. And there you see he and Greg Marshall kind of jockeying back and forth as far as wins in Missouri Valley Conference action, as Barry Henson leads Greg Marshall by 2 in that category. And in the middle of the graphic there, Greg Marshall, 253 wins overall, and Barry Henson right there with him. So the two coaches in the Missouri Valley Conference that have been around the longest in different ways, because Barry Henson with a couple of different stops in the league, and he's got his guys within 3. So they certainly weathered that Shocker storm that saw them up 23-11.
Barry Henson always has his teams ready to compete. They always haven't had the best talent necessarily, or haven't finished first or second, but even when he was at Missouri State, it was going to be a dogfight every single game.
Salukis content to stay in this zone, and that's helped them get back into this game, so why not? Shamet refused to screen, and a two-hand jam down the middle of the lane. Landry Shamet refused the screen from Morris, and then brought the hammer with him down the middle.
Strong finish there. He got hit pretty good in the elbow. Looked like he was going to lay it up initially, but had a little bit of air time, and that great finish there by Landry.
Shamet, normally an excellent foul shooter, does not disappoint. 81.7 from the line. So the Shockers with a little bit of breathing room on the thunder dunk by Landry Shamet. Shockers pick up full court. Hadn't made a basket for a while, so they didn't have an opportunity to set up full court. O'Brien got past Brown, feeds Bowl. He misses a dunk, and out of bounds it goes. And according to Darren George, it was blocked by a Shocker, and I guess it'll stay on this end.
Big Bowl says, anything you can do, I can do better, but couldn't finish it on that one. Good strong take, but a better challenge by Shaq.
And a good look by Sean O'Brien, too, breaking down the Shocker defense. Got past Brown, and then Bowl cut to the rim.
Yeah, if you're going to pressure that full court, you got to at least keep him in front.
15 to shoot. Frankamp checking Rodriguez. A lob play to Bowl. Can't knock it down. Boy, Greg Marshall talked about it in shoot-around today, and there's a blocking foul by Armand Fletcher, who didn't let Connor Frankamp get to the spot. But Greg Marshall mentioned, you don't want to get into a jumping contest with Teak Bowl. He's no joke, and he's proven it.
No, as we've mentioned already, his shot blocking is, he's gone for 2 dunks already. Very athletic, very long. Anything at the rim, you got to be aware of where he is. He likes to come one-man removed and block from the other side, so that would be an opportunity for offensive rebounds for the Shockers, right, whoever he's guarding.
Frankamp pretty slow to get up, but he's going to try to walk it off. We saw the replay a moment ago of Fletcher trying to beat him to the sideline. Just a half step slow. The Shockers with a 6-point lead. Morris got position and flushes it with both hands. Got in behind Fletcher, who was again a half step slow. Morris has 6. Shocker lead back up to 8 now.
A little more pressure by the Shockers here on the ball. We'll see how that holds up with SIU wanting to get into the lane and keep attacking.
Zach Brown partially blocked Sean O'Brien, but Shaquille Morris couldn't quite squeeze it hard enough to get the Shockers going back the other way. O'Brien is continually going to spin and try to get into that lane.
Uses his body really well, either hand. So far, it seems like he's been going over his right shoulder looking for that left-hand finish as he gets the ball again here. He's going to look to back down. Shockers need to dig a little bit and get back.
And Brown did all he could, but O'Brien cashes it in. He's got 6.
Playing a little bit of point forward so far, bringing the ball up, handing it off to somebody, and then getting the ball in the post. He's a load down there. He's pretty good both ways.
Now, he doesn't shoot many threes. At 6'7", he just basically makes his living on either block. Morris couldn't handle the bounce pass on the pick and roll. And the Shockers do get back in transition. A rare 3 by O'Brien wouldn't go down. It's only 7 for 37 from deep.
Of course he shoots one, Shane, right after you say that. But
Shockers started off red hot offensively, but this zone has slowed them down some. Brown hoists a rainbow 3, and it goes in. Zach Brown's first basket of the game.
He's been working pretty hard on defense. Sorry, Shane. He's been working hard on defense. Hasn't really gotten involved too much on the offensive end, but he just got backed off him there, and he took advantage of that.
Morris with a block coming over from the help position. It'll go to Wichita State. So no sooner than the Salukis get within 3, the Shockers up 9 with a chance to get back to double figures. A little body contact, but Shaquille Morris won that battle.
Actually had 2 guys helping there, and he got around Zach Brown, but Shaq came over with the block and came down hard on him. A little bit of body, but he was pretty straight up on the jump.
So we'll see if Wichita State, with that latest 3 by Zach Brown, can shoot SIU out of this zone. Morris, after a hesitation, couldn't get it to go. Zach Brown with a rebound. Fletcher blocked him, and Brown lost it out of bounds.
Yeah, off his knee there. That's
good job by Brown to crash on weak side, Rob, as the shot went up from the right.
Yeah, again, that zone's a little bit tough. You got to turn and find someone if you're SIU. If you don't, you're going to have those open lanes, and they got a better view of the ball coming from the three-point line than what guys do in the paint. So that'll be the challenge for them.
O'Brien did a good job of checking out McDuffie, but then in came Brown.
Yep, exactly right. Middle ball screen here, thick ball and rolls and comes behind. Good defense by the Shockers.
High ball screen set by Wiley. Rodriguez working one-on-one on Frankamp. Has to give it up. Fletcher, a huge step through, 5 to shoot. And Rodriguez tried to buy a call by kicking his legs out, but knocked down the jumper anyway. He's got 8.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he got hit there, but he definitely kicked his feet out. Looked a little bit off balance, but good finish for him down there.
McDuffie shuffles his feet, and the Shockers turn it back over once again. Here we'll see it late in the shot clock. Rodriguez tried to either buy a foul, knock down the jumper, or both. And that's a pretty high degree of difficulty late in the shot clock.
Style points are pretty high on that one. Almost just scissor kicked his legs out looking for that call, but got the bucket anyway.
So the lead back down to 7. Strong take to the basket by Sean Lloyd. Just imposed his will against Landry Shamet, and back come the Dogs.
Lloyd's been pretty active the last few possessions, looking to try and get by his guys. Strong drive there. Had a couple other ones where he stepped through. Shockers going to contain him. They got to try and keep him in front. Great move.
Good high-low look down to Darrell Willis, checking into the game for the first time. Averages about 10.5 a game, gets his first 2. We were talking about Sean Lloyd being active for the Salukis in that 75-70 loss, which perturbed Barry Henson, to say the least. Sean Lloyd went scoreless in 20 minutes, so he's sort of forcing the action, probably at the prompting of his head coach. Hey, get active and get after it.
Yeah, no doubt. He's one of those guys that's tall and long that can probably attack the long Shocker players pretty well.
Wiley fouled on the jump shot, knocks it down, so we'll go to a break once again with the Salukis knocking on the doorstep. 3-point opportunity when we come back. Shooting free throws when we break the huddle with 3:06 left to go here in the first half. The Shockers have never trailed, but they have had maybe twice SIU kind of on the brink of a blowout, but haven't been able to deliver the knockout blow. The Shockers leading by 5. Entered tonight tied with Illinois State atop the Missouri Valley Conference. in about an hour and a half from now, Illinois State will be in Springfield. That's where Wichita State will end up the season with an 11 a.m. tip on the 25th at Missouri State. So as it stands right now, the Shockers going for their 9th consecutive win and trying to, at least for the moment, if it happens, take a very brief half-game lead over Illinois State. But that's certainly a long way to go. Shockers still have 23 minutes to take care of here. Jonathan Wiley was fouled in the act of shooting, and his three-point opportunity goes down, so he has 5. And just like that, the Salukis are back in this one. They only trail it by 4.
Little 1-2-2, three-quarter court here for the Salukis. Probably just trying to keep the Shockers off balance after the good offensive start.
Frankamp steps right into a jumper. Willis with the offensive rebound over Bowl, and he knocks it down. Took Darrell Willis a while to get into the game, but he's got 4 quick ones.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's tough to match up after that 1-2-2, the three-quarter court, and I don't know if they were back in the zone or man there, but it's tough to match out of that, especially when you take a quick shot and then boxing out is something you got to do a little better. Good action there by Willis.
Even after Frankamp's miss, they had numbers as Wichita State broke pressure. Wiley stumbled, and that may have kept him from dumping that one in the mid lane. Shockers get a stop. Well, they rely on Rodriguez to play heavy minutes. O'Brien is out for the moment. Frankamp has missed 2 in a row, and the rebound is corralled by Rodriguez. And a timeout as Teak Bowl comes up a little bit lame. We talked about it. He's not 100% coming into the game, and boy, you touched on it a couple of minutes ago, Rob. You couldn't tell early, but now maybe something's catching up to him.
Yeah, it looks like he almost ran into somebody and bumped knees. You hate to see a guy, hopefully it's nothing major, but he's been real active. Once you sit down, some of that stuff kind of, swells up a little bit, and you get cooled down. Maybe that's what happened. Hopefully he's all right.
Athletic trainer checking him out over at the end of the Saluki bench. Wiley over Willis will go to the line. Jonathan Wiley only played 7 minutes on Saturday against Evansville, but he has really gotten after it on the offensive end. He'll earn a trip to the free throw line where he just made one. Wiley, a 78% foul shooter, only averages 2.5 points on the season.
There's no hiding what Barry Henson wants these guys to do. They're attacking the glass both with the ball and without the ball. Getting into the lane, putting a little bit of pressure on the Shockers D. And when you have to come over to help on some of those drives, then that's when they get the offensive rebounds too.
I think you may have hit it on the head. Teak Bowl may have just banged knees and it hurt for the moment, but he is back in there after a very brief rest on the bench. So whatever it was went away, and Wiley knocked down both free throws. Unexpected offense from Jonathan Wiley. He now has 7. Salukis trail by 4 again. And now it looks like the Dogs are in a man-to-man. Reeves pounded by Fletcher, and finally Gary Maxwell said that's enough. And Armand Fletcher picks up the personal.
Yeah, he was hounded all the way up the court. Kind of rode him a little bit, but that's what SIU's, that's what they do. They're active. They're going to put some pressure on you and don't let you relax with the ball. And they finally got him reaching in and hitting him on the arm.
And talking about Barry Henson and how irritated he was at that loss at home against Evansville, they practiced the next morning. Played Saturday, and it was a Sunday morning practice for the Salukis. So Henson was having none of the effort that he saw against Evansville. Good up and under by Willis, kept it alive but couldn't finish.
Tried to take advantage of Bull's shot blocking there. Got him up in the air, but it was a little bit awkward. I'm not sure he was ready for him to jump and couldn't get that finish.
Willis fouls after getting beat off the dribble. That's his second quick foul.
There's Lloyd being active. He's been real active driving to his left so far. A little bit slow on the rotation, but he's doing a great job of attacking, putting the pressure on, going for the finish there.
So a couple of free throws coming up for Sean Lloyd. Knocks the first one down. Just about a 71% foul shooter on the year. That's the second make from the line for him. He's got 6. Lewis Lloyd's nephew, former Drake great. And he knocked them both down, and Salukis are within a bucket.
Salukis are doing what they need to be in the game. They're offensive rebounding. They're driving. They're putting pressure on.
And the student section is now at full throat. Minute left in the first half. Good look by Frankamp, and Shaquille Morris couldn't corral it. Neither could Austin Reeves. And now a whistle and a timeout by Barry Henson, so that thwarted what could have been a run out for SIU. A 30-second timeout.
Good hustle by both teams there. Everybody's getting scrappy. They know the importance of this game. Salukis have a little bit of pride versus what they did before in Wichita. And Barry Henson's got them playing hard. Shaq, great position. He is in the charge circle there. Just couldn't come up with the ball. Scrappy, McDuffie, and then Rodriguez comes up with it. But it must have been O'Brien who called a timeout over there before he got that run out.
I think maybe one of the Saluki players saw a jump ball coming, so wanted to save the possession, which turned out to be a delayed fast break, so it'll have to wait. The Salukis have not led in over 100 minutes of action now, dating back 3 games. They've crawled within 2 here. Mostly starters for Wichita State, except for C.J. Kaiser, who's in there now. And I believe the starting 5 for Southern Illinois. Actually, Leo Vincent is in there off the bench. Vincent triggers a 3. Wouldn't go. That would have been for the lead. Vincent made 5 triples against Evansville on Saturday.
Good execution there by SIU. They did the pass to the post and a little flare screen, and then they set the gate. And he had an open look, pretty good rhythm, just couldn't get it to knock down.
Give and go to Morris, and a thunderous right-handed slam.
Good strong finish by Shaq. Maybe he wasn't too happy that he didn't come up with that other pass in the lane.
8 points for Morris, and he ripped part of the net down. Final possession of the first half. Open 3 won't go. I beg your pardon. The Shockers will get one last look. A desperation heave, not answered. But the Shockers led from wire to wire, but the Salukis are in it. 37-33, your score at halftime here from SIU Arena. Baconator. The old man, Rob Campman, here courtside, back in his playing days with Paul Miller and others. Rob Campman, there you see, finished his career at Wichita State in the top 15 in games played. He was twice the single-season best three-point percentage shooter and still holds, maybe, did you know, give you a did you know, Rob, the freshman single-season three-point percentage record belongs to you. 47.5% as a Frosh, although Austin Reeves is challenging that right now.
I was just going to say, I think that might be in jeopardy this year. Austin Reeves is a great shooter. It was probably easy for me. Everybody else got all the attention, and I just sat on the weak side and tried to shoot three-pointers. So I'll gladly hand it over to him. He's a heck of a shooter.
You were a stretch 4 before it was cool. Taking your 6'8" frame out and making over 100 three-pointers in his Shocker career, the 7th best three-point percentage in his career. Rob shot it in at 42.2%.
I'm just surprised they could find some color video. I thought all mine was black and white from back then. There's probably no HD back then.
Not that old. So after a brief delay here at halftime, we had to get out the athletic tape and fix the net. That Shaquille Morris had that big thunderous right-handed dunk that basically took a couple of eyelets of the net down. And with the unicyclist on the floor, they really didn't have time to repair it. And there you see Shaq kind of got his fingers caught in the net as he was finishing the dunk. And that's the reason for the cosmetic differences in the net. Rashard Kelly starts the second half for the Shockers on Sean O'Brien. And the Salukis down 4 with the ball to start the second 20 minutes. Rodriguez bounced it off his own leg, and Teak Bowl with 5 to shoot, gives it back up to Rodriguez, who has to force, can't hit. Great box out by Kelly, and Frankamp of the defensive board.
Yeah, kind of sloppy play. Rodriguez had to try and make something work at the end. A little bit rushed with the shot clock, and Connor did a good job of what we mentioned, keep him in front.
McDuffie led all scorers with 11 in the first half. Morris had 8, and Shaquille misfires after going 8 and 4 in the first half and 4 for 6 from the floor. Kelly draws a charge. Sean O'Brien picks up his second foul.
Going to Shaq early again in the second half, trying to get him involved. The game plan kind of mirrors what happened in Wichita. A lot of the bigs are getting their scoring. Haven't had guards get on the board quite as much. It's just that, we kind of blew it out in Wichita, and SIU's keeping a lot closer. They're competing tonight, and that's good to see.
Morris got great position, a great feed by McDuffie, and a great tap on the weak side. There you talked about it. When Teak Bowl tries to block a shot, he tries to block everything. There's offensive rebounds and putbacks to be had.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure Marshall said something about that. Great job. He came over, tried to get the block. Shaq got it up, and that's what you want to do if somebody's coming to help. And Kelly was just opportunistic there. Ball came straight to him.
Shard with his first two. All the way to the cup was Sean Lloyd, and then Teak Bowl with a putback.
Another offensive rebound by SIU there. They're doing a great job getting into the middle again, getting the Shockers to help and not being able to check them off. And they're living up to their offensive rebounding prowess.
Half of their first half rebounds came on the offensive end, 8 of their 16. Marcus McDuffie draws a foul, and Wichita State only got to the free throw line once in the first half. There's foul number 2 on Teak Bowl, so it's not a problem yet, but Bowl has 2 and O'Brien has 2.
I think the referees are doing a good job of letting them play a little bit. They're letting them compete at the rim. SIU's getting into our body, being a little bit more aggressive than what we are, and we've hit some jumpers, so that kind of factors into the free throw count. But I like the way the refs are letting them play and mix it up and decide it on the court.
Marcus McDuffie with only the second Shocker foul shot. He went crazy in Wichita, 20 points and 9 rebounds against the Salukis, knocks down both free throws. So the Shockers, dare I say it, a little bit of breathing room again. Lead is a half dozen, but the Salukis certainly were up to the task in the first 20 minutes. Will they have the depth and energy to match it again in the second 20 minutes? That's the question.
Yeah, at halftime you're going to make your adjustments. And Wichita State, no doubt, talked about that right there, the drive, getting into the body as Shaq tries to come over and help, but fouls on the floor before that by Connor. Rodriguez is good. He's a quick little guard, looks pretty strong. Got Connor Frankamp on his hip, draws the contact, and on the floor before the shot. So
Frankamp had 16 points over the weekend against Loyola. No points tonight. And to your point, I think you hit it on the head, Rob. Wichita State needs to play these guys for the jump shot. Make them shoot. They are getting eaten alive on the drive. O'Brien partially blocked, and Morris to collect the rebound. Good job by Richard Kelly. Lead at 6 and holding with the Shockers' possession. Frankamp. Triple goes down. Connor Frankamp's got a 3-point field goal streak of his own going. That is a 3 in 14 consecutive games for Connor.
He's been hot, but he just hasn't had to really shoot the shots tonight. SIU was a little bit late getting on the handoff there, went under the screen, and even though Connor fumbled the ball a little bit, he still had the time to get it up there and knocked it down, continuing his hot streak.
Vincent's prayer goes unanswered. A heat check and a cold-blooded 3 for Connor Frankamp from 28 feet and a timeout, Southern Illinois. So, Wichita State starts the second half, much like they started the first. The lead is back to a dozen. Shot 40% or lower in the first half in 5 consecutive games now. They only shot 33% in the first half of this one. There you see on the graphic, they're only shooting 31.6 tonight, and that plays right into Wichita State. As we alluded to, Rob Campman, they are very good at field goal defense.
Yeah, the old adage, defense wins championship. This one, you see Illinois State right there too. NBC is going to come down to that. It's no mistake that both those field goal percentages on the defensive end are good, and they're the 2 leading teams in the MVC. And
besides defense winning championships, the old adage, defense travels. And that's why Wichita State's always so good on the road.
No doubt about that, Shane.
12-point Shocker lead. So Barry Henson with an early second half timeout, trying to stem the tide here. Wiley into the game for Southern, who gave them a real shot in the arm in the first half. Vincent guarded against much longer and taller McDuffie now. Wiley raises up, leaves it short. Defensive rebound, 1 and done. Frankamp with back-to-back triples going into the last timeout. They lost him again. Connor Frankamp has 9, all in the first 3.5 minutes of the second half.
The way he's playing, you can't lose him.
Cannot lose him.
He's a deadly shooter, and he's got his rhythm going this half.
Biggest lead of the game is now 15 on the Shockers' 7th triple. And a turnover. The Shockers have numbers, 3-on-1. Frankamp leaves for Kelly, and he'll have to earn it at the line. A good foul by Jonathan Wiley, and the Shockers' 11-0 run, if it's going to extend, will go to the free throw line.
Looked like he was going to try and rise up on this. As you see, the turnover. A little bit of run out for Wichita State. 3-on-1, gets it to the middle. Good foul there by Wiley.
Make Kelly earn it at the line, where he's just a 50% foul shooter. Richard with 2 points so far, and leaves it short. Last year here, we talked about all these streaks and how Wichita State dominated in Wichita. Last year here, the Shockers won by 28, 83-55, and they took the excitement right out of it. Boy, no wonder Kelly missed that first free throw. Look at that. Richard knocks down the second one. That is a tough backdrop to shoot free throws against.
You'd hesitate wanting to get to the line with that behind the basket.
I think you're right.
I'd like to see the fans come out and do stuff like that.
Rodriguez with a lob for Teakbull.
Great press offense there by SIU. Got a couple reversals, got the Shockers out of position. He drove down the middle, and then you're at an advantage. Landry dunks on the other end, same thing happens. You're at an advantage when you're pressing, and all of a sudden you get behind the ball. They're going to get down there, have a 2-on-1, lob it up, and Bull comes out active again here in the second half.
And it all starts with keeping Mike Rodriguez in front of you. He breaks down the defense, and then it goes haywire for the Shockers.
Yeah, but he's doing a great job of that, even right there. Didn't get to the basket, settle for the jumper, but I think the Shockers will take that as opposed to drawing a foul.
McDuffie with a rebound, a reach-in foul on Armon Fletcher, and the Shockers with a 16-point lead as we go to break. Copyrighted telecast of Wichita State University basketball may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Cox Communications and Wichita State University Intercollegiate Athletic Association. We've seen a little bit of everything tonight. We've seen guys on unicycles. We've seen students from the stands out dancing with members of the dance team. And we've seen Wichita State come out in the second half just going bonkers. Shane Dennis alongside former Shocker Rob Campman here courtside. The Shockers 5 of 7 from the floor in the second half. SIU has remained ice cold from the floor, Rob. 2 of 8 this half. They're now 13 of 41, just 31.7% from the floor. Shockers have really ratcheted up the defense.
Yeah, only 4 points in that till that first media timeout. SIU didn't score a whole lot to start the game either, and then they kind of turned it up. Switching to the zone, I think Shockers will be a little bit more prepared for that, but definitely a better start for Wichita State so far.
Nerger steps back for a 3, no good. It's basically been 3-pointers and dunks for Wichita State in the half. Nerger with a huge step through, wild shot, no good. Kelly got Wiley in the air, and he'll go back to the free throw line. So the Shockers giving SIU a little of their own medicine. They're pounding the offensive glass here in the second half.
Yeah, Nerger's one of those where you got to block out the shooter. He didn't know exactly what to do with it, so he said, I'm going to take another shot at it. And again, they come over to try and block and help from the weak side, and that leaves you open to offensive rebounding. Kelly's done a great job. And
just maybe trying to get that third foul on Teakbull, taking him to the basket. Richard Kelly has now made 2 free throws in a row. He's got 4. So the Shockers now enjoying their biggest lead. A quiet 17-point lead, should we say. Connor Frankamp goes to the bench as he's replaced by Deshaun Smith. And boy, just when you thought it was bad for SIU, the glove, Zach Brown comes in for Wichita State. Long left-handed baseball pass up the head to Fletcher, and a 3-point opportunity. And now I know you can attest to this, Rob, if you're Rano Nerger, either hack him and don't let him get it up to the rim, or get away from him and don't foul him altogether.
Yeah, you don't want to give up an easy 3-point play. A tough acrobatic finish as they throw the long ball. Looked like Rano jumped a little bit straight up, but he's kind of come into him in the body there. That's a great finish there by Fletcher.
And kudos to Sean O'Brien, a left-handed baseball pass that went about 70 feet, right on the money. Fletcher's free throw, way short, no good. So that was Fletcher's first 2 of the game. He only had 3 on Saturday against Evansville in 30 minutes, and now has 2 from a guy averaging 12.2 on the year. Salukis mixing up the zone and man-to-man in this first 26 minutes of the game. They're going man-to-man there, and the left-handed hook shot by Rano Nerger. He had 5 in the first half. That's his first 2 of this half.
Yeah, back to that zone. SIU tried to change up the Shockers a little bit, and Rano had a one-on-one with one of the low men in the 2-3 zone. Kind of went to work, went back to that left hand.
O'Brien gets around Brown. Boy, he's efficient.
He's really good at using his body. Back to the basket, front to the basket, and almost like a European player. Can do a lot of stuff, really skilled. It's a tough guard.
6'7", can do a little bit of everything. Sean O'Brien. Nerger turned down the 3. Shamet had Bowl running at him. Now Smith will trigger a 3. That's good. Deshaun Smith, 37.7% from deep, and the Shockers continue to move the ball. Got a wide open look.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of Deshaun Smith being one of our best three-point shooters, but 37% is still pretty good. We're a tough team to zone. You got to be active. You got to get to those shooters.
Fletcher trying to join the highlight reel. He'll go to the free throw line after being denied a right-handed thunder dunk of his own. Kind of ran the weave out there on the perimeter, and Nerger didn't hedge quite hard enough.
Head for a second. Landry got caught on it, and they tried to come over and help, but that was almost an ESPN highlight there.
Fletcher, normally a very good foul shooter, barely drew iron there just a moment ago, and that one crawls in. So Fletcher with 3. Over half of Armand Fletcher's shots are three-pointers. Armand Fletcher in the first half only shot 1 of them. He was 0 for 1, 0 for 3 from the floor altogether. That one's short. He's just 1 of 3 from the line.
Short on all 3 of them.
So the Shockers have a chance to extend the lead to 20. And there you see the graphic. Wichita State quite hot from three-point range. 8 of 11.
Back to man. It looks like back to man-to-man here. It's so tough to zone, and they move the ball well, inside out, get a little one-on-one and can make moves there. There's a big double. Great find by Nerger as Kelly just goes straight underneath the basket where it's hard to help, gets the lay-in.
Well, McDuffie had a side of the floor cleared out for him, but he stayed patient, and eventually the extra pass from Nerger underneath to Kelly. A thing of beauty and the 20-point lead for the Shockers.
One of the things SIU does need to do if they're coming over there, come with high hands, make that pass a little bit tougher. Nerger's long, he's tall, he can still probably get it to him, but if you get a deflection to make it a little bit tougher, you're going to have better chances, obviously.
Lloyd for 3, that's no good, and SIU is ice cold right now. So for all the energy they played with in the first 20 minutes, they just have not been able to match Wichita State here in the first 7.5. Looked like a Shocker foul away from the ball. And the Shockers had 9 assists on their first half, 16 baskets due to passing like that. He almost had eyes in the back of his head.
As you can see, the guy that came over and did the big double, he had his hands high, but Dick Bowl was trying to, keep him from spinning or doing some of that, and his hands were, and he took advantage of that.
Stradnick checks in for Bowl. Sets a screen on Shamet there at the top. Fletcher loses it. Shockers trying to run. And a foul by Sean O'Brien preventing a Wichita State break. That's his 3rd. So it's one thing to try to avoid a 3-on-2, but Sean O'Brien kind of gave away a foul right there. That's 3 on him with 12 minutes left to go. And Rob, if they're going to come back at all, he's got to be part of it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's a good idea, and you want to take away that fast break, but you got to know how important you are to the team as well. And if they're going to get back into it, he's going to need to attack and get a couple baskets, maybe get to the free throw line and get some of our bigs in foul trouble.
He did not play much at all in the first half in Wichita due to 2 personal fouls in the early going. They're going to call Rano Nerger for a moving screen as Darren George whistles number 20 in black. Take another look. Nerger is incredulous with the call. Yeah, I don't know. There was contact there.
Yeah, there was.
But he wasn't trying to set a screen. That was the problem.
No, he was almost trying to slip, but if he's got his feet set like he's going to set a screen, it's probably a good call because you did impede the defender a little bit.
So that's 2 fouls on Rano Nerger. Lead at 20 and holding.
O'Brien's pretty comfortable from this position right here. Nerger kind of fakes, digs at him. Good with either hand. I'd like to see a little bit harder dig on that, but he's good. He's a load down there. Right or left hand, jump hook. He looks to spin and get to the baseline. Like you mentioned, they're going to have to go to him and go to him often if they want to get back in this.
Nerzier working on Stradnik's, a couple of European players. And Nerzier with a nice finish with the up and under move. Ronno Nerzier has really come along here in his junior season. He has 9 points, had 7 and 5 against Southern Illinois in the earlier meeting in Wichita. And really about the only way you can stop O'Brien right now is don't let him catch it.
Yep, and he's good at getting that guy on the backside. And earlier he did a little spin, a little high-low, so you got to be wary of that too. But that was a good dig there. Take your chances on the jump shot.
Stradnik picks up the personal foul. The Storm for Wichita State in the second half has equaled a 20-point margin 9 minutes in. Mentioned it earlier in the game, the Shockers last year here won by 28. And Wichita State has been blowing teams out at a historic rate. There you see margin of victory. Wichita State's third in the country. Some of you may be wondering how Wichita State's 35-1 team did as far as margin of victory. 15.7. So it's even better this year. The Shockers have won 13 times by 20 or more points this season. And 9 times the Shockers have beaten someone by 30 or more, including Southern Illinois earlier in the Roundhouse by 42. And there you see those Cincinnati teams. A couple of those were headed up by none other than Oscar Robertson, the top one at 22 points in margin. The Big O was on that Cincinnati team.
They almost lull you to sleep, too. You know, there was a 4-point game at half, I think, and now all of a sudden they're up 21 after Nerger's free throw make. It doesn't seem like that, but they just kind of pick away at it and make some shots and make it tough on the other end.
And now suddenly, after Wichita State only had 1 free throw in the first half, they have Southern over the limit. The Shockers will be in the bonus for the remaining 11 of this one. Nerzier with a nice lift off the bench. And speaking of, C.J. Kaiser with an offensive rebound on a missed free throw. Well, Wichita State is beating Southern Illinois to virtually everything now.
Yeah, that'll make Barry Henson a little bit frustrated. You don't want to give up offensive rebounds anytime as Bull's getting ready to check back in. But on a free throw, you got him outnumbered 4-2. That shouldn't happen.
Kaiser was fouled after he wrestled the rebound away from 2 Southern Illinois Salukis. So CJ will go to the line. He's 6 of 7 from the free throw line this year. He'll get the 1-and-1 on the 8th team foul by the Salukis. This is a guy, and C.J. Kaiser, who's elbowing his way into the rotation more and more. Shockers with yet another offensive rebound. Kaiser averaging about 5 minutes a game, but he's one of those freshmen that has really come on and earned some playing time for Greg Marshall. He handles it out near the top. 18 to shoot. Deshaun Smith is going to rise and fire a 3, left it short. He runs his own down and banks it in. This has got to be getting demoralizing now for Barry Henson.
Yeah, SIU leads the league offensive rebounding just under 12 a game, but that's 12 for Wichita State. We still have 10.5 minutes to go.
Man. The lead now 23. Vincent a 3 off the move and a one-handed rebound by Deshaun Smith. The Shockers are really feeling it now. Kaiser hits. In this place, you could hear a pin drop. C.J. Kaiser, his first 2. Now the lead 25 and a timeout for Southern Illinois. So with 10:07 left, the Shockers had a 4-point lead at halftime, Rob, and the energy changed, the execution changed. I know paint was coming off the walls probably in the Shocker locker room with what Greg Marshall was saying, but those turnovers by Wichita State have gone away, and now suddenly Wichita State crashing the boards.
Yeah, it was a 4-point game at halftime. Shockers came out with some laser focus in the second half here, and they've only given up 11 points. On pace, that'd be 44 for the game. That's pretty good.
34.8% unofficially for Southern Illinois from the floor.
You can tell Marshall got on him a little bit at halftime and said, this is what we're known for. We can't keep giving this up. And they haven't given up the offensive rebounds like they did in the first half either. That was a big part of SIU's offense.
Well, the student section that was so raucous just a few minutes ago, they have not had much to stand up and cheer about lately. SIU is in a real drought in the first 10 minutes of the second half. 11 points as Rob alluded to. 11 points in the first 10-plus minutes. Rodriguez getting cut off by Smith. Reeves stays in front of Vincent. Bull with an offensive rebound and putback. Now he has continued to pound the offensive glass. Teak Bull with 8 points, but he hasn't had enough company on the glass.
No, that's what we saw them do to stay in the game in the first half. Get into the lane, get the shot up. Somebody comes over and helps. And offensive rebound putbacks.
Reeves didn't want the three. The teardrop instead. Austin Reeves gets his first basket.
Good head fake, too, dribbled in the middle there by Reeves, and a soft touch on the teardrop, the Tony Parker teardrop.
Shockers seemingly know what Southern Illinois is going to run before they run it. They're ready for all their sets.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. What Coach Marshall says is the umbrella and keep everybody in and try and pack the lane and not let them have those angles. And they're doing that, but the next thing you have to do is when you stop the defender and you're not guarding him, you got to get back to your man. And they're doing a better job of this half doing that.
Kelly wanted to go coast to coast, but got cut off in the mid lane. Nerger pushed way out off the block by Bull. Muscling him in and lefties it up and in. Rano Nerger goes to that left hand again, and Rano's in double figures. 12 points for Rano Nerger.
Switching a few more screens for the Shockers here and try to get a post up on a mismatch there, and Kaiser hit him on the arm.
A couple of Shocker subs come in, 2 bigs. Shaquille Morris, Daryl Willis. They made a lot of hay in the paint in Wichita against Southern. 44 points of their 87 came in the paint in that earlier meeting in Wichita. Wiley gets low, but then has to give it up. Vincent covered up by Reeves. Leaves for Fletcher with a acrobatic reverse. Armand Fletcher's second basket. He's been quiet tonight. He's only got 5.
Stepped up the lane to help there, and he didn't get help. So help the helper, you got to get his nice little dump off and finish, though.
Well, the Shockers had 3-point blankers and 2 Salukis collided and couldn't score. That's about the only thing the Shockers haven't done right in the second half. Rodriguez earns a trip to the line as he beat Deshaun Smith off the dribble. So Wichita State continues to enjoy a comfortable second half lead. 73-48 as the Shockers try to win their 9th in a row. AU Arena, one lucky student just banked one in from half court that gave the crowd a little bit of a rise. It's been few and far between in the second half. Here's your game reset brought to you by Delta Dental. Protect your healthy smile with Delta Dental of Kansas. Learn more about individual and family plans at deltadentalofkansas.com. 34.6% from the floor from the game, or for the game, for Southern Illinois. They have 2 assists on 18 made baskets. Wichita State has outscored them by 21 in the second half. Rodriguez free throw is up and good. Mike Rodriguez was active in the first half. He has now 9 points for the game, but he struggled to shoot. 3 of 9 today, and he was just 2 for 11 in Wichita. So the Shockers' length and athleticism has bothered him, along with everybody else for SIU. They've had trouble scoring.
And they've picked up the rebounding as well, up 39-21.
Plus 18 on the glass.
Almost doubling them up.
In Wichita, they were plus 20 on the glass, so it's more of the same here tonight. All Shockers, especially in the second half. I misspoke earlier. I said last year they won by 28 here. They actually won by 25, and that's the biggest margin of victory in this building for Wichita State. Late in the shot clock, Shaq doesn't get bailed out. He lost track of the shot clock, and Frankamp couldn't heave up a 42-footer in time. And Nerger is going to come in for Morris. That's one thing about having depth, Rob. You don't have to put up with losing your mind out there on the floor. Greg Marshall's not afraid to go to the bench.
Yeah, and he won't let you make too many mistakes before you're sitting next to him again. It's almost seemed like Shaq didn't know what to do, but he's more worried about that than the actual shot clock.
Vincent fouled by Nerger, coming over to help. They continue to put their head down and get to the rim. Lurano's third personal foul. Just helping out his mate, Connor Frankamp. Thought that Vincent was going to use a screen, went baseline instead.
Yeah, a little late getting over there, but I think he's trying to go for the block. Jumped straight up, but when he got hit, his arms came down. A little bit too much body contact there.
Vincent averaging 8.3 a game on the year, only 4 tonight. He had 21, and including 5 threes against Evansville on Saturday in that 5-point loss. So it looks more and more like Southern Illinois not only is going to go under 500 in the league at 7-8, but that's going to be now 3 games in a row, Rob, where they have not led for a second. They are kind of in a drought right now in the dog days of the Valley season, if you pardon the pun.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a little tough to win if you're not leading.
Brown for 3, that wouldn't go.
Well, it's an amazing stat for Wichita State, too. Every game, the only game that they haven't scored first in was at Illinois State. And they kept that up tonight. Nice little pick and pop, short corner jumper. Haven't seen a whole lot of that from him. He's normally been attacking the basket, trying to be aggressive.
He's been a bright spot for them. He's in double figures now.
That's a nice touch there.
Frankamp well short. So now the Shockers are on a field goal drought, and Rodriguez bullying his way in. Ran into 2 Shockers. Shamet will get the foul, and Rodriguez will go back to the line. So Saluki's not ready to go away just yet, but they're running out of time.
Rodriguez loves that contact. He's definitely comfortable with it, too. Looking to get into anybody whenever he can. And Landry didn't have time to set his feet if he's running with him.
He's in the top 25 in the country in free throws attempted. He's 24th. He is a 74% foul shooter, Rodriguez is. And these 2 free throws will be unofficially his 5th and 6th. We'll update that, but Rodriguez normally makes a living at the line. He splits a pair, and the lead is down to 18. Shamet left it short. Shockers can't buy a basket all of a sudden.
No, good execution there. That play's drawn up, draw to the baseline, come back and set the screen. Nurger had a good screen, got Landry open, couldn't finish it.
That's Nurger's 4th foul, and back to the free throw line once again, one of the best in the business at it, Mike Rodriguez. O'Brien found him in transition, and even though he didn't have the numbers, like you said, Rob, just creating contact.
He creates it, yeah. I think Nurger was trying not to foul there, but you almost have to get out of the way knowing he's just going to put his shoulder down, draw that contact, and try and finish.
So Morris will come back in for Nurger. Teak Bowl out for a very brief rest, replaces Jonathan Wiley. Lead as many as 25, now down to 17. That's 10 in a row for Southern Illinois. And Rodriguez rolls that one in. It bears noting that in this Shocker winning streak against Southern Illinois, it dates back to, the Shocker fans will remember this, the Ehime Arupe goaltend call. That game, the Shockers led by 17 in the first half before a furious SIU comeback allowed them to win by 2. They had a goaltending call with 2 seconds left to go in the game. Rodriguez with an acrobatic play to try to keep the possession or get the possession for Southern. He absolutely jumped over 2 rows of people.
And it looks like the Shockers are going to win this, but it's not for lack of effort from Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He's been diving on the floor, playing hard defense, playing full court defense there, and Landry bringing the ball up the court. I like Rodriguez. He's a heck of a player, and he's playing hard and competing.
Frankamp got the ball with 7 seconds on the shot clock, and after the ball took a tour of the rim, Connor dumps in his first 2-point basket. Bowl with a heat check. O'Brien over the back, no call. The Shockers on a run out, 2-on-2, and Rashard Kelly, 1 too many steps. You got 2 basically power forwards running the fast break, so you do it at your own risk, right?
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think he was almost going to give it back to Marcus McDuffie, and then he saw someone come up behind him, and by that time, couldn't get the ball down to dribble, kind of on top of the defender.
So the Salukis have started making some shots. They've taken better care of the ball, but as we mentioned, time's running low on them now. We're inside 5 minutes. Shocker lead is 18. And I'm not sure what Vincent wanted Fletcher to do there. Pass was deflected out of bounds. I think maybe he was wanting Fletcher to go back door, dribbling over toward him. Just passed it out of bounds. Now he just lost it, it looked like maybe.
And it looked like it went off Shaq's leg almost, but I'm not even sure it did. He was pointing the other way.
Vincent off the screen, but there's Frankamp to shadow him. 7 to shoot. At the buzzer, short. Boy, they got Rodriguez to give up the ball. I don't know why he did that.
I was sure he was going to drive and create contact, as we've talked about multiple times, but he just got a little bit off balance there.
Shamet for 3 more.
Nice 3. Can't go under the screen with these guys the way they're shooting it, whether it's Frankamp or Shamet or Reeves.
In that game in Wichita, Shamet and Frankamp combined for 4 field goal attempts. That's how good the big guys were in that meeting in Wichita. But they are slowly but surely, Shamet and Frankamp getting theirs here tonight, especially in the second half.
Especially in the second half, yeah. It's like Coach Marshall may have said something about that and make them pay for going underneath the screen.
Shamet with a quiet 11. Frankamp also with 11. All of Connor's points have been in this half. 4 minutes left. Boy, Kelly played O'Brien for the drive beautifully that time. And O'Brien pounding the offensive glass, taps it in. That's his first putback. 12 points for O'Brien. That's right at his average.
Again, keep pounding it. You got to guard the ball, and then they're taking advantage of when we coming over to help and offensive rebounding, and that's been their best offense tonight.
Shockers having a little bit of difficulty finishing around the rim. That's about all the fault you can find in their effort as we go to break. Landry Shamet tying up Sean Lloyd. Speaking of Sean O'Brien with his 6th rebound of the game equaled 2 points. Communications, your friend in the digital age. Rano Nerger has arguably done more with less. He's only played 15 minutes, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist for Rano, 5 of 9 from the floor, and he has spearheaded that bench attack that we talked about, Rob Campman. 32 more bench points for Wichita State tonight, 12 by him.
I like how he's being so patient. He's got good vision, but since he's been scoring more, then he's been seeing more double teams. And now he's waiting for that, seeing if it's coming. If it's not, he's going to work, especially on that left-handed hook. If it is coming, he's got that vision as he found somebody there on the double team. Ronald's been active. He didn't get in for a while in the first half, but when he did, he knocked down a 3, and he's been doing stuff since then.
2 free throws knocked down by Sean Lloyd. Rodriguez bought a couple of extra seconds of rest coming out of that timeout, but he's right back in there before any time ticks off the clock. 17-point Shocker lead. Biggest enemy for Southern Illinois right now is the clock. Kelly got around O'Brien, couldn't finish, and Morris does. Shaquille Morris stayed after it. He gets into double figures, so now 5 Shockers have 10 or more. Back cut by Fletcher, and 1. Morris.
There by Fletcher. Saw the deny, kind of turned her head, couldn't see him go back door. And a great finish there with the body contact and rolled it in.
Armand Fletcher now with 7 points. Took on Shaquille Morris on his way to the basket and cashes it in. So Fletcher will go to the free throw line.
I'm impressed with Fletcher. He's been able to get by some people and goes up to finish hard. He hasn't gotten them all to fall, but look for a couple dunks. That was a great finish. He's a good player. Long and athletic.
Edwardsville native, averaged 5 points a year ago, 12.2 this year. And Barry Henson has raved about Armand Fletcher's potential. Just a redshirt sophomore, had 10 and 5 against Wichita State in the earlier meeting. Lob underneath for Shaq, and Rashard Kelly can't believe that Shaquille Morris couldn't read his mind right there.
Yeah, they're just on a different page. That happens sometimes. Shaq looked like he was going to seal and stay in there, but maybe every 3-second call was getting out too late on the pass.
And the Shockers get to the 80-point plateau yet again this season. That's becoming commonplace for them. And McDuffie with a steal. Rodriguez bit off a little more than he could chew with that cross-court pass. And McDuffie slips and falls. That leads to a run out. O'Brien with a play. 14 for O'Brien. 80-66. More than a few people have stuck around to watch the last 2 minutes of this game, if you know what I mean. Shockers will run some clock. Frankamp letting it bleed down, working on Leo Vincent. In his face, buried a triple. Frankamp's 4th three.
I've seen that a lot more over the last few games from Wichita State. As Frankamp's kind of found his mojo and got his rhythm going on his shot. Those late shot clock plays, they just give it to him, let him do his thing on the top. And if you're SIU, you got to make him a driver. He's on fire lately.
I believe that was offensive basket interference on that last little exchange under the SIU hoop. 90 seconds remaining. So Southern Illinois will go back to the drawing board. They'll be 14-14 overall, 7-8 in the league. Kelly blocked by Bowl right at the rim. Shockers wanted to goaltend. 9 to shoot. So the Shockers with 9 to shoot and 68 seconds left in the game. There you see Wichita State since 2010. They are going to be 66-14 here in another minute and 8 seconds, and the winning percentage bears that out. That is just otherworldly. Shamit with a high degree of difficulty banks it in.
Good defense by Rodriguez. He pushed him away from the basket, cut off the angle. He just given up a few inches there and couldn't get his hand up to block it.
Rodriguez rejected by Kelly. Boy, we've seen a little bit of everything, Rob. Three-pointers, slam dunks, fast breaks, blocked shots. Both teams came ready to play, but Southern Illinois just ran out of gas in the second half.
Yeah, I think the depth of the Shockers just keep throwing guys at them. You got a mismatch there.
Vincent with a bomb. That's no good.
I think the depth is kind of working, wearing down SIU a little bit. Rodriguez has been playing the whole time, but there's a few other guys that look pretty tired. And that's what Wichita State does. Whether they're at home or on the road, they're going to keep coming at you. It reminds me of the SIU days back in the early 2000s where they just kept coming after you and kept defending you and active hands, and that's what we gave them tonight.
And 2000 to 2009, these Salukis, as Rob was talking about, went to the NCAA 6 times in that span, and Shaquille Morris puts the cherry on top of the sundae. 6 MVC titles and 5 tourney titles for the Salukis from 2000 to 09. Rodriguez finishes, and that's likely to be the last points of the game. Shockers get it into forecourt, and there's your final score. 87-68. Wichita State victorious. So they sweep the season series. They've now won 9 in a row in the series against Southern Illinois, all by double figures. And to say they got a scare put into them in the first 20 minutes is not stretching things. It was only a 4-point game at half.
Yeah, we started off really well. But then, SIU said, all right, we're gonna play a little bit. We're going to compete with you. And they started just putting their head down and getting to the basket. Got us in a little bit of foul trouble, but got to the line a lot in the first half. Didn't do that as well in the second half, and that was the difference in the score.
And the Shockers returned the favor in the second half, too. They ratcheted up their defense. They got to the free throw line. They got some easy baskets. And lo and behold, the Wichita State Shockers turn a 4-point halftime lead into a rout, but it certainly didn't start that way. Greg Marshall joining us here courtside, and Rob and I were just talking, Coach, a 4-point halftime lead did more than put a scare into you. From your perspective, what changed in the second half?
We started getting stops, kept them off the foul line for the first X amount of minutes. I don't know how long that was, and then they lived at the foul line after that. We rebounded the ball. I thought Kelly in particular rebounded it very well tonight, and Rano and Kelly at the 4 and the 5, Marcus at the 3, and then whoever was in at the guards. I thought Deshaun and our starting guards were pretty good tonight.
Did you talk about at halftime guarding the dribble drive? They didn't have any assists at halftime.
Yeah,
like
no assists. They had 10 free throws, Rob. You know, we did 3 different things on the ball screens. They want to live in the paint. We were shadowing to begin the game. Then we started icing and trying to force them to the baseline. And then ultimately we went back in the second half to our bread and butter, which is hedge. And in timeouts, we were shadowing a little bit because they're trying to run a play to take advantage of the hedge, and then a couple times they wanted to back cut us out of timeouts as well. So, you know, we weren't great tonight. But still we win by 19 on the road. So we just got to keep pedal to the metal, keep working hard, keep coaching them, and you know we're 24 and 4.
Yeah.
And didn't play great, but we got to play better. You know, we got Northern Iowa coming in last year. They broke our long home court win streak after we beat them at their place. Same scenario as this year. They going into tonight, they'd won 8 of 9, so I don't know what they did tonight. But I just know that we'll have to play well on Saturday. It'll be an early start, and you know we're capable of it. I'm looking forward to getting back to Koch Arena. Hopefully we'll travel safe tonight, and you know, we'll take a 19-point win.
Thanks for coming by, Coach.
Guys. Great to have you, Rob. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, Coach. I enjoyed it very much.
Okay, buddy.
Hey, Coach Greg Marshall, here's our Bud Light play of the game. Bud Light, make the right call, drink responsibly. The Shockers had a plethora of dunks to pick from, but Shaquille Morris turns the trick, and he turns in our Bud Light play of the game. Morris ended up as one of 5 Shockers in double figures and single-handedly took the net down at halftime. Wichita State victorious 87-68. Rob Campman, your final thoughts for Wichita State tonight?
I agree with Coach. I don't think they played perfect, but it's a pretty nice luxury to be able to win by 19 and not play the way you want to play. They were up and down a little bit. Didn't do everything they wanted to do all the time. But you got to give some credit to SIU a little bit because they were doing the things they need to do, make some adjustments, driving the ball, trying to get back to what was them keeping them in the game, offensive rebounding and driving it. So you got to give them credit too. But that's a good win for Wichita State.
Enjoyed it, Rob. Hope you did too. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Shane. I loved it.
All right, for Rob Campman and for our entire Spectrum Sports crew in the truck, Shane Dennis saying thanks for watching. Wichita State wins 87-68. We'll be back on the Cox channel on the 21st. Shockers in Evansville at 7 o'clock at Charles Koch Arena. Hope you'll tune us in then. Once again, final score, Shockers 87, Salukis 68. Wichita State 9 consecutive wins over SIU. Thanks again for watching. So long from Carbondale, Illinois.